I'd like you to take a look at our cartoon of the week and give us your perspective. What you think of that cartoon? It will be on the screen, even right behind me here, so that you can see it clearly. Could we have it, more of that image on this screen? All right. This was the easiest cartoon because I thought about the officers and how much they can say or not say. So this is the easiest. I'll begin with you, Osiany, your perspective of that cartoon. Disaster response.
My God. I know our disaster management and response has been wanting. I think the happenings in the recent past is an indictment on the authority, because now there is a National Disaster Management Authority. But also, I know there are arms beyond the authority that are charged with dealing with disasters and responding swiftly to disasters, right? From even the police unit into the county office, you know, many others. It's multifaceted. It webs and gels with many other outfits. I think it's time we looked at our disaster response. I don't want to say more.
Typically response in minutes.
For me, the first thing that comes to this is technology, because I think the discussion we've had and even looking at this cartoon, I think there's a lot that Kenya can benefit if we were to tap in more into technology. So for instance, this should be something that should be innovative and fast to deal with the issues at hand. And when we look at what we have been discussing, the issue of police, then police need to protect themselves and protect us. And some of the things that they should do is tap into technology by the digitization of the OB process that has already been suggested. Okay. So if this was digitized, then this will probably be an Uber ambulance, for instance. Yeah. Okay. So if Uber is working in terms of making it easier for us to transport people, why don't we do the same for our police? So we digitize the OB process so that when I go and complain about something, I am able to track that process, and eventually maybe if I am satisfied, then I can say the police did a good thing and then share success stories. If I am not, then I raise this issue. And so yeah, I will say technology. And okay. To protect police, like the issue of the police shooting the child, I think police should get body cams so that, and be mandated to have them on at all times, so okay. that it is easier for them to defend themselves and to prove that this person behaved in a wrong manner or this person was justified to do what they did. So tech.
All right, now that she's mentioned that, even as you comment on our cartoon, is it somewhere we're likely headed? Body cams. I know it's a new thing taking shape in more developed countries, but is it something that the service might consider?
Definitely, I'm certain. I'm not authority to talk about that, but again, there are a lot of, you have to look at the regulation also. Does it allow us? But that is technology, and this country cannot be left behind. Okay. These reforms are awesome, and they are doing a lot of good things, and Kenyans must learn to appreciate. Looking at that caricature of that van and the disaster response unit, well, I don't think it is that bad. Yes, it is supposed to send a message, but I think it is a bit too harsh on the disaster response unit. It could have been a bit kinder, but again, it is trying to speak out and bring out the gravity of what the Kenyans feel ought to have happened in terms of response, because it is a responsibility that is incumbent on the unit, but they may not be understanding the dynamics that are making the process be slow. So let's not flog ourselves too hard. Okay. What I would also want to say is that we need also to have memories, because I think we forget too often and we are not consistent. Because if we have the experiences on disasters, then we should have learned lessons so that next time we are better. It is a typical example. We did well in this country after Westgate. Yeah. Dusit 2 was a good example. People really tried to do better.
No, but I think I think there's a policy gap in terms of aligning policy, policy alignment, in terms of who is in charge. And that's why I began when you talked about this. It cannot be domiciled, for example, in the police unit. It is absolute. Disaster is so vast. You need to map out what kind of disasters, who will intervene at what point. It is so vast. Then you get these actors and put together and align the policy so that there is a command, you know. There's a command structure for whenever there is any type
that's
of...
a discussion for another day.
This
Yes.
cartoon is very interesting. According to me, I'm looking at it on the holistic nature
Okay.
of the behavior of our community. We have a lot to write on this. That what are our morals as a community? A community where we don't plant trees, we cut trees. You know, you start with preventive measures, isn't it? How do you manage your environment? We cannot even manage River Nairobi, a small river. The same Michuki planted some trees. Today, we cannot manage that river and have clean water on that river. So you find that the way we manage our environment is so bad. And then we will end up now spending a lot of money on matters that we would have prevented.
Okay.
We would have prevented flooding. We would have had dams. We would have known where that water is going to be and to be preserved, so that these animals would be safe in the first place. So the first place, the preventive measures, our morals. What are our morals before now? And then now, lastly, we are now coming to blame, overburden the government generally. Just like what we said about police. How are we bringing up the children, the society who becomes the larger society?
Okay.
What are our morals in what we do so that we can be able to manage ourselves? Like just something you said about a governor buying lunch. It's not, a governor is not supposed to buy lunch for his driver. If you go to developed countries, even us, when we go out now, we must prepare ourselves and know that Charlton is going to take 2 beers. He can pay for himself when he's going to pay. We must develop a culture of every individual taking care of himself and working hard. Okay. You don't say, my brother is an assistant inspector general called Owino, then I'll just get children, I don't even go to my farm, then tomorrow I throw them to Owino, and if Owino does not pay, you blame him. No.
Okay.
So that cartoon is super.
All right.
But don't look at it on one side.
We look at it
disaster, look at it,
Okay.
look at it, let it be able to tell you how much immoral we are, especially
All right.
in terms of
We are closing, and my director has told me to end the show, but I'll give you a minute, just a minute to close. Way forward, we have learned, we have known, but is it possible that we can do it where we are with the society we are in right now?
Yes, it is possible. We will have to have a change of mindset based on our leadership. And like I said, it has nothing to do with individuals. It has nothing to do with the police as people, but the process through which we get people into office and the ethics that we hold them accountable by. And if we can get that done in a proper way, then we should be on the right track. The other thing I would like to say is policing is embedded in the political context and the society in which it takes place. So like we've mentioned over and over in this show, the policing things that we're seeing right now are just a reflection of us. And for us to change that, then we have to take ownership for our country and decide that as Kenyans, we deserve better and we aspire to be better, and therefore start making the steps towards that. The other thing is policing must evolve with time to make sure that we are using what is happening so that we're not left behind. So during the colonial time, policing was very different from what it is today. And that is a good thing because we've become more democratic. We're now able to enjoy more rights than we did at that time. But then as we evolve in terms of our rights and understanding of what our country is and what it means to us, then we need to make sure that the aspirations that we aspire to are reflected in the people we put into these offices.
Okay, David.
Now, first, let's agree here. You know, police are not unionized. All the disciplined forces, they don't have a union unless that began recently. So today, all unions have CBAs. I sit on a board or two and I tell you, you go, you will find that those who are in union, some of them are earning more than the managers at the managerial level. Police have no unions to speak for them for better pay. I say it on behalf of the police here, that they deserve better pay. They deserve better pay so that then we demand better of them when they do not deliver. And let me put it clearly. The better pay of police is not mutually exclusive to the growth and better pay of people in other sectors, or even growing our young people. So don't feel pain that I am saying this for police. I have been on record for teachers, for doctors, and all other sexual workers. Two, there needs to be we need to see a bit more administrative action. Like Mr. Wino said, and I liked it when he said that after I had raised this. There are times when you know this is wrong. Don't wait for, justice. Fire him. What's the court going to do? At worst, the court will say, pay him damages. Because they will know that you have a basis for firing. Administrative action.
Okay.
Third, have proper vetting before these people are recruited. Watch for later. From the point they are running on the pitch, look at their character and the pointers to their character that you have. And finally, Charlton.
Yes.
You need to. This is the public policy, me speaking, not communication.
Okay. Yeah.
The IAU must decide to have a police ombudsman at every division level. Every OCPD must have, you know, the way the gender desk, there is a gender desk at every station. You need to have an ombudsman who only takes complaints about other police officers. He must be a person that you have checked within. That's consultancy. I'll write an invoice after this. You must be able to check that this one is of good character, so that every person is alerted that in every station you go to, there is an ombudsman of police to whom you can complain about police only. Don't go with crime, don't go with anything, just go with issues related to police. And eventually Kenyans have to agree that we have to fix our society. A society not fixed will not yield much of a change, even in the police.
My take is very simple. That the probable bad behavior of the police is a direct reflection of the bad behavior of the society. And therefore, I feel delighted when the public are worried about a bad behavior of the police, a bad cop. But that worry must be taken forward to question what is the main cause, okay, and what is the cause, so that the public will be able to know basic things that we need to develop our society from the small children in a certain moral standard. Because this is the investment of the persons that you expect to form the larger society, to form the persons. Because you've seen some leaders currently, somebody who does not qualify completely, morally, everything, to be called a leader, getting voted simply because if you are in a sub-county, in a constituency, then the man from the largest clan maybe wins.
Yes.
When you go to maybe a county level, then the man from the largest sub-county wins. Like that up to national. So what we are saying is we need to be one country. We need to be persons who can solve our problems, and we stop pointing fingers at one another. Okay. We need to question ourselves. What have you done for yourself today? Have you planted vegetables? Have you gone to your shamba, if that is what you do? Do you have food to put on the table for your children, or you're waiting for your brother to bring food on your behalf?